Good morning. We're here today at Fundación Cethus with Miguel Iñiguez. He is the president of Fundación Cethus. He is part of the Argentinian delegation to the International Whaling Commission since the year 2002. He's vice chair of the Conservation Committee of the International Whaling Commission, and on top of that, he's IUCN Marine Mammal Protected, part of the IUCN Marine Mammal Protected Area Task Force. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
And full disclosure, as I said before, I'm a research associate at Fundación Cethus. I guess that the first thing our audience would like to know is a little bit of your academic history and professional history.
Well, I'm a field naturalist. Here I study in the Asociación Ornitológica del Plata.
Right.
In the Escuela of Naturalist, Field Naturalist
right.
School.
So it's a school specialized in ornithology, so it's specialized in birds.
Well, not really. The field naturalist school is on everything.
On everything. It just gets the name.
Yes.
I see.
And then I have I make the master degree on environmental education.
Awesome.
In Spain. But before that, I studied for 4 years veterinary science.
Right.
So
quite a combo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's an interesting combo.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about the history of Fundación Cethus? How did it start?
Yes, Fundación Cethus was established in 1992 here in Argentina. It was made by the multidisciplinary group that include people from companies, managers mainly, teachers, and then biologists.
Right.
So we decided to create Fundación Cethus, and the objective is to study, make and protect the whales and dolphins and purpose of Argentina mainly.
Yes.
That was in the origin of the Fundación Cethus.
Right.
But after that, we expanded to other areas of Latin America.
Yeah, and Antarctica.
And Antarctica.
Right.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about your day-to-day? And sure, there's no day that looks exactly like another, but more or less how your average day at Cethus happens to be.
Well, it's I try to divide my dates in the week and focus on some specific items.
Right.
So, for example, I have my hat of Fundación Cethus. I need to secure funds for the organization, have meetings with the government's representative.
Right.
Because we work very much on all to provide advice to the government and information to protect these species, but also the ocean. We are for us, it's very important to protect the ocean, and then also to try to. I'm not very much involved in social media, honestly, but I recognize how important they are. So I try to support every action that is coming for social media in relation to Fundación Cethus work.
Yes.
And then as part of I'm a researcher, so I never avoid that. For me, it's the most important thing.
Right.
And at least I try to spend, if it's possible, sometimes it's not possible, but at least 2 months in the field.
Right.
Every year. So I divide my time between the work that we are doing in southern Patagonia
Right.
with commersons and pearls dolphins.
That's in San Julian Bay.
That is mainly in San Julian Bay,
All right.
in the province of Santa Cruz,
Santa Cruz, yeah.
very south of Argentina.
It's southern Patagonia.
Southern Patagonia, yes. It's still, fortunately, a very wild area.
Yes.
And then, quite recently, 2 years ago, we began a project in Bahía Blanca, and now we are expanded to another area, which is called Bahía Anegada, Bahía San Blas, in the south of the Buenos Aires province.
Right.
And there we are focused on the two main threatened smallest cetacean species of the South West Atlantic, which are the Lagiles bottlenose dolphins and the Franciscana.
Right.
So I try to spend
as much time as possible
in that areas, but also, and as part of the IWC, I'm leading a project in Antarctica.
Indeed.
So as part of the Southern Ocean Research Partnership of the IWC, I'm leading that part of the work for Argentina.
Right.
And then, I have some responsibilities as part of the IWC, as part of the Argentine delegation. So, there is an agenda, very, very big agenda at the IWC, that involves the research part, or the scientific part of the IWC, the conservation agenda of the IWC,
right.
and then the political part.
I see.
So I'm involved in the three aspects of the agenda, but mainly on the scientific and the conservation agenda. And we have at least every week some meetings in relation of this.
I see.
So it's a very active
it's
agenda, but I recognize that I enjoy very much that.
Yeah, it's a very active agenda, and I'm sympathetic to the difficulties in having environmental policy and communication and education on one side, and trying to make an equilibrium to still do your research.
Yes,
That's probably the most difficult part.
Yes, the most difficult is to try to keep, at least for me, is 1 month.
Because it's super easy for the other parts of the agenda to invade the research part.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, now more directing us a little bit more to the object of study and conservation. I guess our audience is particularly interested in you telling us a little bit about the role of cetaceans in ecosystems.
Well, cetaceans in the ecosystems are really very, very important. We have in total 95 species.
Right.
From very small ones, such as the feeless porpoise and, for example, the commersons.
The commersons dolphins or
dolphins,
the vaquita in Mexico.
To the blue whales.
Indeed.
So it's
humongous.
In the middle we have
a
lot of different species of cetaceans. And we have species that migrate a lot, such as, for example, all the baleen whales.
Indeed.
So we have the the right whales, the humpback whales, sei whales, fin
the blue
whales, gray whales, blue whales.
Yeah.
So all the big whales, or most of them, there are some exceptions, but most of them move from very cold waters in the Arctic and Antarctica to more temperate waters or warmer waters. So that in that moment, the animals really make what is called the horizontal translocation, or what we normally call the a great whale conveyor, and which is to basically to move nutrients
Right.
from the cold waters in Antarctic or the Arctic to the warmer waters in close to the tropic.
Right, because they do feed in polar waters,
Exactly.
and then they essentially transport nutrients and carbon to more temperate waters.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that is in that role, it's really very important because during this translocation, what normally the whales did is to move this nutrient that are necessary to in the reproduction in
Sure.
the yes in
In
the
the
ecosystem
ecosystem
of
of
in
temperate
general,
areas.
but particularly on the phytoplankton.
I see. I see.
So that is really very important for also the impact that the phytoplankton have on the climate change
Right.
system.
Right. That's super
So
interesting.
that is one of the why it's important to also protect whales and dolphins. The other thing is we have some species that are really very good divers. So some of them can
Yes.
reach 1,000, 2,000
Yeah.
meters deep, depth. Sorry. And in that list, we have what is called the big whales or Cephius and the sperm whale. So these animals make what is called the vertical translocation,
I see.
or what is called normally the whale pump. So basically, these animals move at the same time nutrients from deep waters to the
Yeah.
surface, and that help to other species too,
Indeed.
and the ecosystem in general.
Indeed.
Other roles that the whales and dolphins they have is probably at the smaller scales is what is happening also with small cetaceans. So, for example, coastal species such as the bottlenose dolphins,
Yeah.
Peale's dolphins,
The Commerson's
Commerson's dolphins
dolphin.
develop a behavior that they move very close to the shore and and produce what is called the bioturbations of the waters.
I see.
So they remove the sun or the bottom
Yeah.
and create a kind of cloud of turbid waters, and that help the animals when they are searching for food, or also help when they are trying to trap or to feed on
Yeah.
some schoolfish.
Yes, 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 yes.
So that is also generate a movement
Indeed.
that help also the ecosystem.
It remixes the water column, and
Yeah,
we're talking probably about shallow waters.
yes,
But still, like it's a palpable ecosystem effect.
yes.
Um,
And finally, another contribution that they are doing to the ecosystem is when an animal die. Normally,
yes,
the carcass fall in the bottom,
I see.
and this is used by a lot of different
All
species.
the creatures that live
Yes, and
there.
that also is so. This is a very quick summary on how
Yeah,
the cetaceans well, the role in the ecosystem
yeah, yeah, yeah.
of these species.
Yeah, but it's very remarkable in the sense that we have these animals playing a role in nutrient and carbon cycles. This these cycles are not simply chemistry
No.
or simply aspects of chemical and physical oceanography, but these animals have a palpable effect, and that is eventually connected with the issue of climate change, in the sense that, well, these animals redistribute carbon and other nutrients that have an impact on phytoplankton, and phytoplankton is absorbing CO2 and so on.
Absolutely.
So that's very, very interesting. You've been now monitoring essentially the Argentinian coast from Buenos Aires province to Patagonia and beyond in Antarctica for decades. Are there some examples that you remember of particular species potentially being affected by climate change?
Well, once for example, in southern Patagonia,
Yeah.
we are basically following and studying a small population of Commerson's dolphins since 1996.
Why?
That is in San Julian Bay.
Huge time series.
Yes, and we follow, at the beginning we start with the photo identification of the animals.
Right.
So that help us to identify different individuals, and we estimate close to 100 Commerson's dolphin there. So one example is that normally every 2 years, the reproductive females give a birth to a newborn. And in 2003, we have a very strong La Niña event, and the surface temperature of the San Julian Bay increased in 2 degrees, which is very, very
That's
much
wild.
For
any body of water, 2
absolutely.
degrees is very tangible.
So we were talking very much with the local fishermen, and I remember that they mentioned that they basically didn't fish because every effort that they were doing, they didn't fish anything or not enough.
Yeah.
And they believe that all the prey move outside the bay.
I see.
Searching for cooler waters. So we were following this small population in San Julian Bay, and for the first time, we didn't record any newborn, any calf.
Oh my God! Yeah.
So, but our study is focusing in the summertime.
Yes.
So what we did to prove the potential effect of La Niña event is the next year, so in 2024, we expanded the study area.
I
and
see.
with the help of the park ranger of the Parque Marino Interjurisdiccional Maquenque,
Right.
in that area.
That's a protected area.
It's a protected area. It's a mix between the province, the national government, and the municipal.
That's why it's
government.
called interjurisdictional park, Maquenque.
Yes, it's a
Fascinating.
very fascinating
Yeah.
experiment. As I
It's
say.
it's something fairly difficult to find in the literature on how to create protected areas.
Yes,
so.
but it worked really very, very well. So we, as I mentioned, we expanded the study area.
Yeah.
Because we need to know if we have juveniles from 1 year old. And I remember that we sailed that area a lot, and we didn't find find any single juvenile of 1 year.
I see.
But this last summer, the number of calves are bigger than the previous 2 years.
Fortunately.
Yes. So that for me was, and in 2024 and this year, the surface temperature came back to the normal one in summertime, in the Austral summertime, which is
Austral
between
summertime, yeah.
2013 and 14 degrees.
For our northern hemisphere audience, the austral summer runs from late December to late March.
Exactly. So that was one strong evidence of the in one species.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you consider that there are species that are particularly vulnerable to climate change?
Well, I believe that all species are
Sure.
vulnerable, but as you said, some are probably could be more affected by the climate change. And I will refer to those deep divers species in cetaceans, which are the Cephius, the big whales, but also the sperm whales.
Right.
Both use very deep waters, normally more than 500 meters. And normally they use, for example, deep canyon areas. So any change in the water temperature will affect them very much. And it could be directly or indirectly. Indirectly because one of the main prey of this species are the squid, particularly deep water squid. So any change in the water temperature that will affect the prey of the squid, and then the squid will affect the big whales and the sperm whale. The main issue is that we believe that particularly probably for the big whales that live normally in one specific area, and we understand that have some seasonal movements, but we cannot determine until now at least that they have long migrations, but yes, seasonal movements. The possibility to adapt to another areas could be very, very low. So that could be a huge impact on big whale.
I see.
The main issue is that for every species for all the cetaceans, the big whales are the less known species. Imagine that for some or very few of them we have the chance to watch them in the wild, but very few records. Most of the records are from stranding. There are some species that were identified using chassis skulls. There are no records of sightings, for example, on the Andrews big whales. For example, one specific species.
So particularly big whales Cephids are extremely elusive.
Absolutely.
That's amazing that we know that some species exist, but just because of their skull, we actually haven't seen them. They are very oceanic and they dive very deep. Wow.
Yes, they are fascinating, and they can reach 2,000 meters, be in deep water for 1 hour and a half.
I see.
For example, so the time that they spend in the surface is very limited. And we must be very lucky to watch them. There are some areas that is easier to watch them than compared with another ones. One is, for example, the Canary Islands. Where there are some chance to watch them in the wild.
And if my memory does not fail me, I do remember that there were sonar exercises around the Canary Islands that caused a mass mortality effect of big whales.
Yes, these animals, as they are living in very deep waters,
Yeah,
are very much well. These animals are very. Most of the cetaceans are
yeah,
very sensible to noise
nice
pollution.
solution.
But in the case of the big whales, are very much affected at the medium frequency,
I see.
military sonars, but also to seismic exploration.
I see. I see. I
So
see.
that is probably the main threat for these animals.
Yeah, I do remember from one of my PhD papers that I'm still working on that the Spanish Armada did put together some protocols after
yes.
that happened. Well, big whales, fascinating and elusive. In the context of climate change, we would love to hear your reflections on the importance of monitoring, and if you could tell us if you have made changes in the ways Fundación Cethus monitors cetaceans.
Yes, I mean the importance to monitor climate change effect is crucial.
Yeah.
And we can have a lot of examples, not
Sure.
just on whales and dolphins, but there are examples on seabirds, other mammals, on fish, and well, day by day we can see in the TV
Indeed.
some part of the effect on what is happening. So when we start in Fundación Cethus, for example, again, in most of our studies began with a technique which is very simple but help a lot, which is the photo identification of individuals.
Right, recognizing them by
yes.
scars
Absolutely.
or their normal coloration. Yeah.
Exactly. So we obtain a picture of an animal, analyze, and try to normally give a code,
Yeah.
scientific, what we call a scientific code, but
Yeah.
then we give a name.
Yeah, sure.
But we use for that,
course.
I will explain probably later, but we use the schools or the nautical club
Yeah.
to invite the community to give a name for a new individual. So so we start with that, and the idea is to normally make long-term studies.
I see.
For example, the case that I mentioned before, that is on the Commerson's dolphin.
Right.
So when you follow for a long time a population, any small aspect that as a researcher we start to see that is completely different to previous year, for us it's a kind of warning, something is happening.
Yeah.
So that helps us to start to look back to other years.
Indeed.
And see what happened, for example, under El Niño event, under La Niña
Sure.
event, and compare with what happened in 2023. That happened in a long term. You can do when the scientist is doing a long-term project.
Yeah.
But then we, in Fundación Cethus, we decide to incorporate new technologies. So we incorporate since 2011 the acoustic.
Right.
So we have our own hydrophones.
Indeed.
And we develop studies. Every single project includes an acoustic aspect.
Yeah, for the audience, we did launch a video specialized on that aspect of the foundation's work.
For example, before the acoustic, since 2002, 2003, we incorporate studies on genetics,
Mm-hmm.
on DNA, so that will give us very important information
Yeah.
on how is the conservation status from the genetic point of view
Yeah.
of a population. And more recently, we incorporate the use of drone.
Mm-hmm.
So, or unmanned.
Aerial systems.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
or
what?
aerial vehicles.
Yes. So
UAS, UAV.
So what we did is to basically study the animals from using the acoustic
Mm-hmm.
from the surface through visual observations,
Yeah.
direct observations, and from the top using
Yeah.
drones. So when it's possible, because weather conditions
Sure.
play a big role on that.
And weather conditions in Patagonia do not tend to help.
Not really. So when we can do this, for us it's the perfect day,
Yeah.
because we can study an individual or a group of individuals using the three
I see.
levels.
Yeah.
So that gave us a lot of information, and in the recent years we were receiving new information that is very, very important for our study, because at the end, our study, the main objective is to work for the protection of this species.
Indeed.
So that is what is the final objective.
That's the end goal.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And you cannot do protection without proper knowledge. And proper knowledge comes with long time series of monitoring.
Yes.
I guess that the next interesting point we could cover is if you have noticed, if our region in particular, how does it fare in terms of the impacts of climate change compared to other regions? If you have already noticed this, or this would be a very novel comparison.
Well, there are some evidence that probably are related to climate change.
Mm-hmm.
We need to do further studies,
Sure.
as not just Fundación Cethus.
No, the scientific community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there are some very strong evidence that something is happening. For example, we start to have some disease that are stronger in more recent years.
Yeah.
For example, the avian flu that affect a lot of seabirds, but also mammals.
Yes, that's
and
true.
that could be related to climate change the conditions. Then we have redistribution of some species that could be, for me, the approach could be caused by a climate change effect, but also because, for example, in baleen whales, the population in general are recovering.
Yes.
So
that's
probably
true.
they are using or reusing areas that they were normally used 100 years ago.
Right. The populations of baleen whales are recovering thanks to the efforts of the International Whaling Commission in putting a moratorium on commercial whaling.
Yes,
That
since
made a big difference.
1996,
Right.
that put in place. But could be both, because it's the oceanographic experts know that the current shift some of them from the original ones recorded, 50 or many years ago. And so that could cause some impact. On southern right whales, we have some events of mortality of calf in a few years ago with really very high numbers.
Yeah.
And the International Whaling Commission were focused on trying to understand what happened.
Indeed.
And one of the causes is probably the impact caused by climate change on the krill
I see.
in Antarctic waters and subantarctic
Yeah.
waters. And then how this affect, because the krill is one of the main
Sources of food.
yes, of southern right and other species, and how this affects, the predator, such as the southern right whales.
Yeah.
So there are evidence, but of course we need to explore more. But for me, the most important is just to make a multidisciplinary approach, not just the biology approach. We
see.
need to understand and to study in a more multidisciplinary approach.
Absolutely. And last but not least, can you tell us a little bit about the extension aspects of Fundación Cethus, its education and communications efforts within the larger community?
Well, in communication, since the beginning, we developed a very strong educational program that every fieldwork or every project need to have an educational component. So we work with the communities, giving talks for the community, training, for example, new researchers.
I see.
Giving talks for the general community, visiting or giving interviews for newspapers or local. I'm talking about mainly local, probably. Local or regional newspaper, TV or radio interviews. So the most important thing with this is that the community understand how important it is to protect those or these species. In general, what we found is that probably local communities didn't know anything about these species. So this is one of the reasons why we need to develop this kind of project. In some areas, it's bigger than in other areas, but this is something that we improve or try to encourage very much as part of our work.
Indeed.
On social media, I must recognize that we are very new, and we are trying to develop and improve and encourage.
But we're moving fast.
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
I'm very happy with the improve that we are giving, the way that we are moving.
Yeah.
And we expect that quite soon we will have more followers and also try to contribute with the knowledge that we are generating. And for us, is very important as part of our educational program.
Yeah.
Because now social media has an important role in education of the
Indeed.
people in general.
Well, thank you so much. This was Miguel Iñiguez, president of Fundación Cethus, with us here today. It's been a pleasure, and we'll continue with our content from the south of the continent prior to COP30. Stay tuned for the latest on COP30, and we'll see you in Brazil.
Thank you, Esteban.